And it's Philip again with another update on what's happening with the development of version 10 of PD Howler. And this time here with a very existential question. What if those weeds that cause hay fever got the flu? Would that stop your sneeze? Now, the reason I came up with that is that I wanted to show something that's been bugging me with earlier versions of Dog Waffle, and we are fixing that. So, what's happening is that if you had any sort of elevation map, something like Go, something like this here, plasma noise, right? That worked, and we could make it seamless actually. Let's do that one more time. Let's do it seamless right from the beginning. So when we go to plasma noise, we can click here so we know it's actually seamless. And then we could go and put that into something like PuppyRay, right? Now at that level, it looks pretty decent, and we don't notice any sort of anomaly to keep it vague. But essentially, what's happening is that this landscape, which appears to be an elevation map from the original image, is actually an elevation map from a modified image, one that has been flipped vertically. Right? Now, you couldn't tell the difference with something like this, right? Unless you have some features on there that are very well identifiable, like a street, a bridge, a lake, a river that turns to the right, and now here you would see it turning to the left. The same problem happens when you have text, right? And so if you were to take this and look it up this way through PuppyRay in version 9.6, it would look still pretty interesting. But as far as the text is concerned, if you want to make it readable, get rid of the interpolation, reduce the extrusion. Now it is readable, right? So I'm actually using a version that is the beta of version 10 in which we fixed that. In version 9.6, if you try that, you'll notice that the text will be flipped vertically. It won't be readable, not just rotated, but flipped. It's an inversion of the y-axis or something like that, one of those three x, y, z's. And it was just a different coordinate system. It's not a bug, it's a feature, if you want to call it that. It's basically different. And it made it not impossible to create a 3D view like this, but it may be a little bit cumbersome, and you'd have to do one or two more extra steps, meaning you would have to go through this here, through the image menu, and flip it vertically. Right? Now, if you do it now with my beta version, which of course you can since it's mine, you can go and still practice the same on 9.6, and you will notice that PuppyRay allows you to do that, but it will appear like this. It will appear vertically challenged. Let's see if I rotate this view. Still not readable, right? So that was the side effect of a coordinate system that was not the same as in 3D Designer, for instance, right? Because in 3D Designer, we did not have that problem. You go into 3D Designer, you can go and transform that all day long, 3D Designer, and there it is, and it's showing the proper orientation. So you can see the text, you can flatten this a little bit, you can see the colors too, you can enable the image as the color. So there was a immediate usability for turning that 2D text that you had painted or drawn or typed, turn that text into a 3D logo. With PuppyRay, you could not do that quite that easily because you would have to first flip it upside down. Now, again, as I said, it was not impossible, but it's just a little bit annoying. And annoyances, as there are too many of them on this planet already, which is perhaps why we are so interested in Mars and see if we have fewer annoyances there. But short of that, I wanted to share the good news. We have fixed that little buggy. I wouldn't call it a bug. I would call it a challenge or a snafu. Uh, but anyway, so that will be one of the nice features too in Howler or PD Artist version 10. You'll be able to do something like this, and in fact, you'll be able to go and again make it seamless, such as this here. And once it's seamless, You can also do a few other things, such as, well, store it, of course. That goes part of the workflow now. And let's go, for instance, render that with PuppyRay, but as an animation. So I'm going to go and create an animation here of, oh, I don't know, 99 sounds like a good name here. Number of frames, and then we go to transform 3D designer, and in 3D designer we can go and do something like this now, and that's not where I want it to be. It's in transform PuppyRay, the GPU version, and there now we do have what do we have? We do have this thing flipped around. No. Oh, I did turn around my camera, but it's not flipped around. We can definitely read this. Now, one thing we do want to add to that is the coloration, right? In 3D Designer, you can do that right there in the interface. You can go to 3D Designer right there. And then as for the coloring, the default is just the object color, which you can set here. And if you like it pink or red or green or whatever, you select that, and so you get that basic coloration on there. But you can also instead get the coloration that came from the image, or you can have that come from the swap image. Now the swap image in this case is plain white. We didn't put anything there yet, so and nothing there really of interest. But with regard to PuppyRay, that is the only way you can get that coloration, is to have it come from the swap image. So if you look at this, go to the swap image, click on that same image. Now you have both the elevation map and the color map, one in the main image, one in the swap image. In the main image, you are going to see the elevation map, so you can certainly do some more things to that. You could say, well, let's turn it into grayscale. Why look at it colored wise, since we are essentially going to use this as a height map or elevation map. And we might want to apply that across the entire animation. I'm going to do the easy route on that and just recreate the animation from this modified sequence, from this modified image. Double check that we still have the color there in the swap image. Yep, let's go back to the main image. And so now at this time, if I go put this over here and select my filter transform PuppyRay GPU, now I can go and see, let's say go enable ambient lighting, preview quality. What else do we need here? So yeah, you can see now that the coloration is coming from that swap image. And what I'll do is I get rid of the pre-filtering, get rid of the interpolation, so it will have this familiar blocky look that I so like to play with. And you can read the text. That's the good news now with PuppyRay in the upcoming version 10. You'll be able to read the text. Now that sounds like a very monumental statement. You can read the text, but of course it's very contextual. So there it is. Let's see what we can do, perhaps to improve this in some way. Perhaps add a little bit of extrusion here. Perhaps add some movement to the light source. I'm going to have the light move. Here's the light. I'm going to have it move from the left to the right. Have it a little bit lower so it's casting shadows. Have it a little bit brighter so we can see. And a little bit less on the ambient, or a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think? Something like that. So keyframe that, and then go to the end and move the light to the other side. Something like this. And keyframe that, but also actually move, we're not done yet, move forward a little bit, something like this, and even move to the left, so take the camera in rotation mode and go this way. Who knows, maybe tilt it a little bit, maybe lower the camera or bring it up, I don't know. Let's change the color of the fog too. Let's give it a nice white fog and bring it farther away. There you go. All right, keyframe that. So now we have a little transition from here to there, and we don't need to do the final render for that. We can do just a very quick test at high quality. That's high enough. Without shadows, it will go a little bit faster. Since we don't really have long shadows here, that might be just sufficient. And animate this little baby, render that, and enjoy the fact that we did not have to flip the image in order to see the text. So that's it. I thought this would take just about 20 seconds, and 20 minutes into this tutorial, I am still talking about it. So that's it for now. Philip Steiger out, and we'll talk to you soon again with some more good news about PD Howler 10 coming up somewhere around the turn of the year.